Alright, so today we're talking iOS 18. So WWDC 2024 is only about a month away, actually a little less than that if you're watching this now. So I figured we'd talk about what's going to come in iOS 18 and what I want to see. Now there are already a ton of leaks and rumors, and this isn't that video, so you can totally go read about them or find them in another video. This is just a good old-fashioned wish list based on how I use the phone and what I think would make it a better software. Now there are already a ton of leaks and rumors and articles written and videos made about what could potentially actually be coming in iOS 18, but I've looked at that and I've just put together my top 5 what I really want to see in iOS 18. So some of these things are supported by rumors and leaks, some of them are just things that I want to see personally. Of course, the first thing that's been on everyone's mind is the better assistant coming to iOS. Now, we don't really need to rehash how bad the current assistant is. Aside from putting in reminders pretty efficiently, there is a lot to be desired with the current voice assistant on iPhones. Hopefully, with the new AI focus, it'll be better. It's kind of curious to see what they're going to bring. There were rumors about it bringing like a chatbot type interface like ChatGPT or Gemini. There were rumors that that's not coming in iOS 18. There's rumors that they're going to work with these other companies to bring their software onto the phone. The idea is that AI is going to be on device, and we have to see how that's going to work. But at the end of the day, the Siri assistant sucks. This brings me to what I want to actually see with AI, because the current implementation of AI as it is right now with editing photos and making GIFs out of photos is really not what I really care about. And I'm not sure if anyone really cares about this level of AI. I mean, the AI that we're looking forward to is what we saw in Iron Man with Jarvis, handling things for Tony Stark. Since I saw that movie almost 16 years ago now, that's what this whole thing has been about. I've envisioned a future of my assistant handling my day-to-day for me, drafting up emails so I don't have to waste my time doing that. Finding time in my schedule to work out, figuring out how long my commute's going to be so I know exactly when to leave. Right now you can technically do these things, but you have to do them manually. Bring AI in and make it do things for you so that your workload is actually reduced. It just doesn't do that. And the things that they're touting about bringing, I'm not convinced are going to shake up our day-to-day lives. So if we're talking about a better assistant, then let's actually make it a better assistant. I think that's the AI that we all need and deserve. Number 2, better search. Now, in iOS 17, they actually brought a few better search features to the Messages app. Before iOS 17, if you ever tried to search in Messages, it was the most frustrating experience ever. Even now, it's still not that great. Sure, you can filter by who you're sending your messages to look for a message in there, but I still can't reliably find that one podcast that my sister sent me over a year and a half ago. Now, if you extend that, searching through emails, your notes, your reminders, calendar events, it's all pretty bad. Now, what I want is Apple to implement search in a way that's actually helpful. I want to be able to search through my emails and find that Apple receipt so I can return something. I mean, there's a whole genre of knowledge management that's been born out of the fact that search is really bad and unreliable. If search was good, we would never really need to manage our knowledge. We would just be able to pull it up when we needed it to. Now, what I think is Apple should leverage the AI features that Google announced recently at I/O, where you can naturally talk to Google Photos and say things like, "What's my license plate number?" And it'll show you a photo of your license plate. Now, that would be pretty neat. A third one that would be really good is Apple Notes, reminders, and calendar integration. Now, I made an entire video on this idea of how these apps work pretty well, but not well together, and they should, because all of Apple's devices tend to work really well together, so it's kind of peculiar that they don't. But being able to see your reminders within the calendar app would be pretty helpful. Having some crosstalk between those two softwares would make a lot of people's lives, I know mine, a lot easier. Another easy example is being able to link an Apple Note to a calendar event if you have a meeting. Let's say I have a meeting with my boss. It's the example I used last time. If I want to link a note or reminder to an event, I should be able to do those things without having so many problems that I do right now. I'd really love to see Apple make these apps work together a lot better and communicate easily. Fourth on this list is better notification management. If you look at the notification drawer on iPhones and iPad, they're really not that pretty or informative. Whenever you have a bunch of Uber Eats or news notifications, they're all smushed together, then you expand them and they all look the same and there's no sense of which ones are actually important. There is this ability to turn off notifications until your evening summary, but evening summary it together isn't really that helpful either, in my opinion. And when you get messages and mail, you have to long press and then it takes up the entire interface and you can only deal with one at a time. I just think the notifications on iOS are not that well handled. I think comparing to when I used to have an Android, even almost a decade ago, that was a lot better. And I still think that Apple could learn a few things from Android's notification system. I'm kind of disappointed that this has been on the back burner for the past 3-4 years maybe. I also think that notifications could be handled a lot better on iPad, but that's like its own video. So if you're interested in an iPadOS 18 wish list, then leave a thumbs up. Anyway, I think notifications could be managed a little bit better to make them a little bit more concise, easier to clean, and more efficient to interact with. Okay, finally, number 5, visual changes. Now, the last major visual redesign to iOS was iOS 7, which was almost 11 years ago now, which is crazy because since then it's just been a bunch of iterative updates, and that's helpful. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to have iterative updates to improve the software, but I think iOS needs a fresh coat of paint. Now, visionOS just came out, and there were some rumors that iOS 18 was going to be drawing upon some visionOS elements, but now it seems that that rumor was overstated, so who knows what's actually going to happen. I think Apple could use a fresh coat of paint. Maybe some UI changes or UI redesigns would be pretty awesome to see, especially since the last major one was like 11 years ago. Whether there actually will be many visual changes, I'm not sure since the focus for this year seems to be on AI, but I can dream. Okay, those are my top 5 features that I want to see for iOS 18. Let me know what you want to see down below. If you learned something, consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.